Welcome back to episode 3 of Project Fear. Lucy, hello Lucy.
Hello.
We are going to talk about this programme. So if you've not watched it yet, you must go and watch Project Fear episode 3 and then come back and see our discussion. Okay, now that's out of the way.
What is that? Oh, my torch has gone off. No, my batteries. Oh shit, I'm scared.
So, Old Hospital on College Hill. It overlooks the city of Williamson, West Virginia. It was named after Wallace J. Williamson, son of Benjamin, who owned the land which became the city. The hospital was opened in 1928 after the original structure had burnt down 2 years earlier. Williamson used money from selling bonds to create a state-of-the-art hospital which ran for 60 years. In 2019, the actor who played in the original Halloween, who played Michael Myers, he actually did a thing where he would meet you after you did the tour. So that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the many stories I found about this place, you can find them all online. I saw a pregnant woman arrive to give birth, and this nurse came up and said to her, "Oh, you can't be having your baby today, you'll have to go home." So she's like, "Oh, what? All right." Gets up and starts to leave, bumps into a nurse. "Wait, where are you going?" "Oh, the other nurse just told me to, I can't have a baby today." And she's like, "But I'm the only nurse working on this floor." Ooh. So
I
yeah,
like it.
that was good. Another story to tie in with that tells of a nurse who died here in a car accident. We find out a construction worker downed tools and left after seeing her on the 4th floor, and also a floating nurse has been seen in the basement. So yeah, maybe it's the same nurse. I don't know. I went back and watched the series 2 episode 14 one as well. Did you see that?
No, I do remember from when I watched it, but I haven't rewatched recently.
Yeah,
No.
I summarised here. So there's daily mining accidents. It's always rammed. Unclaimed bodies of victims were burned and their ashes are still there today in piles. Reports are whistling, screaming, shadows in the windows. A woman sees a man's face on the wall, apparently once. It's one of those things that happened once only. Alex, being nice to the nurse, got the word kind and the obvious as he was being, "Look, really sorry for you, and it said kind, and it was like, that was interesting. It seemed to really fit with the way he was being kind, and he was talking about this kind lady saying, "You're so good in helping others, selfless." So that really tied in that word. I was like, that was good. The first duck, anyway, because I saw 2. I didn't see 2, that's a lie. I saw this one, and then I've had somebody online tell me where another one was. The first duck, here's the picture, is in the boot as Alex is sneezing his head off. You just briefly see the yellow twice.
Oh, see, I thought I saw it in the reflection of the windscreen at one point.
Okay, there might be more than even the 2
I'm
that's
guessing it might have just been in the car and they were getting ready to put it somewhere and then they just got it in the shot. I don't know.
I mean, if it's in there, isn't it? It's fair game. As they travel, they joke about a spirit following them from the last location, and that is possible, isn't it, Lucy?
Yeah, we've had it.
We've had it, and I don't just mean Sam the spirit, but like Ruth, I actually realised had come through previously, and we've had spirits come through the Ouija boards from one location, and spirits have visited our home and proved it by answering questions about what is in our house and what house numbers we live at. So it's really not a case of spirits are just locked in one location, although some can be. But it's quite terrifying, that, isn't it, Lucy, really?
Yeah.
The fact that, it's not something I really think about much.
I used to worry about it, like when I first joined the team. I used to say as I was leaving, "Don't follow me home, don't follow me home, don't follow me home." But now I don't think about it anymore. I just switch off to it once I get home.
Yeah, I switch off. It's very much a great form of protection. If I hear anything at all, I'm like, not now.
Yeah.
You know. So the location is revealed in the car as they discuss getting malevolent on the Ovulus and the bleeping of machinery. This time they're not going to focus on the story of the guy being thrown out of the window. Yeah, so many spirits in that building. We generally don't follow a thread, do we? We're just like, who's here? Because the truth of it is, there are things might be there, but things come, don't they, from far away when we open up our light, as it were.
Yeah.
Like a beacon. New areas are now available, which is often the case, including the lift. It shows a clip of the black mass that they caught. I think it may have refreshed it in this episode. And yeah, it does only go the top half, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's a bat or a bird, I don't know, but that's just something I've thought of now. But yeah, if it's a figure, you only see the top half. I mean, it's not like we get that. I've watched a lot of our footage, obviously I edit it, so I watch our footage and I can't think of a single time where we've got shadows.
No, that's why whenever I see them get shadows and like black masses almost, I think that's really cool because we've never, I don't think.
No, and I've sat, especially early on, and watched multiple CCTV feeds, having to watch one camera at a time. And geez, it's a boring process watching an empty room in real time again, but you have to do it because if you start fast forwarding, you could miss anything. And that's a really good catch. I don't know if they review it themselves. I know most haunted of England get a college to do it for them. So I don't know what happens there. I know Dakota has to edit it, obviously. They get in that lift, and as they're sort of shutting the door, they hear a thud outside, don't they? And it's a substantial thud. It's like, oof, we're off. I mean, I'd be happy with that on a night. I'd be like, that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go home.
Yeah, we've got what we came for. Off we go.
Yeah. They start in the basement by accident, really. They all explore really quietly. They all go really quiet, which that it's pretty spooky when everyone shuts up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it when Dakota starts taking photographs. That's something that we always say we're going to do and have in the past, but you really need a designated photographer to be like, that's your responsibility tonight, just snap away. And the thing about taking photographs, I know I'm talking to the audience, that don't just take the one, always take at least two, because when you get anything that's floating or moving, you need just one. You can't work out which way it's going, where it's coming from, and when the photograph is taken, a lot of flashes, I get people showing me pictures if I'm doing a public event. They'll say, why is this square on the wall? It's not there. And I'll say, because when you flash, that picture, that mirror has flashed the reflection against that in an instantaneous. As if I shine a torch on it, it's there now. And so you have to have, two pictures or more and think about reflective surfaces that you only get for this split second of the flash.
Yeah.
Just a tip there. The X-ray room is where they set a camera up. That's on the second floor. Tanner feels like he's had something touch his face. He goes on to describe that cobwebby feeling. Have you ever had that?
I have, yeah. It's like in between a cobweb and like maybe someone really lightly touching you. And it's very eerie when it happens, especially when it's on your face or your head.
Absolutely, it usually is. And it's like you go like that, don't you? Because you're trying to find more cobweb. And when it's not there, you're like, what was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do we think that is?
I think it's potentially paranormal. Of course, it could just be like dust falling from the ceiling in these old buildings.
But if it's paranormal, though, if it's ghostly, what is that tendril? Do you know what I mean? Is it energy? Is it?
I would say probably energy of them getting so close to you. But then you'd think we'd feel it more doing what we do.
Yeah, but I've definitely had it and not been able to locate it. Well, it's very difficult, isn't it? Because when you're in the dark in creepy buildings, the actual cobwebs are going to be likely. So I don't know. There's a noise caught like a scream, they say, and it's like a girl. To me, every time I hear it, it sounds like the whirring of an elevator, but I wasn't there. They heard it in real time. They say it sounds like a girl, and they all agreed. Yeah,
it was very high pitched, very
was
high.
It? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it did. It sounded like I think if we'd have heard it, that's the thing as well, isn't it? You don't always hear it as they heard it.
No.
So it's difficult, but yeah, I thought it sounded like a female screaming.
Great. They asked the nurse to knock twice in response. Again, great. And don't ask for one. We need, you might get a thud, but yeah, you want 2 distinct knocks. That's a good tip. REM pod activates, and there's definitely no one near. We can see down there.
Yeah.
We've learned that it's 6 inches away to affect them, to grab them. So that's really
good. And even
good.
then, it'll only lightly go off. It's like the way that went off was as if someone had like just grabbed it.
Yeah, and then it goes off again as they're talking about it. It's like, yes, this isn't just a freak wave of electromagnetism.
Yeah.
There's a crash noise, like a door slam above, maybe. So the theory is, are there 2 spirits? Is one on the REM pod and another far away? Again, who's to say? That's logical thinking. If there are 2 spirits, yeah, that makes sense. Is one spirit scaring the other off? That would seem to be the question. And the REM pod, gives confirmation when Dakota's asking questions. Are you the nurse or whatever? It's like, is this the nurse or not? Which floor do we avoid? Number 4, REM pod. He seems to be having a communication, which all makes sense.
Yeah.
The X-ray room static cam captures a tap and that little shadow at the side.
Yeah.
Weird.
It took me a while to figure out what we were looking at.
Yeah.
Obviously the noise was good, and then I rewound and paused a few times, and the black shadow that you see, although to me doesn't look like any specific, I couldn't say what shape it was. It was, I couldn't say it looked like a face, but when it moves, you can tell that it's inside the room because the door frame's there.
Yes.
And it goes behind. So to me, that's more evidence that it's paranormal. It's not just a shadow from somewhere else reflecting. Even then, that'd be weird. But it's not. It goes behind the door frame, and I think that is always really good if you can see the dimension of it and the way it travels. Related.
So it wasn't a bat, was it? It wasn't a bird because it would have gone over the door frame, as you say. Well said, yeah. So the dictaphone's broken out. We have an EVP session, and they all feel the cold spots we talked about the other week. 23 minutes again, a good solid review as well of the dictaphone. Why should we be afraid of the 4th floor? He's a bad man, potentially. Hard to hear, but you do hear it when it's written out. And I was like, well, yeah, that sounds really good. Love to get something like that. There's a shifting sound is heard. The vibration through the wall, I was thinking that they're attached to, because they do learn that it's the doors of the elevator, don't they, soon? So yeah, I think that's the vibration. Rather than the whole building shaking, it's the fact that they're attached to the wall where the elevator's moving.
Well, because this was happening around in the same chunk of time, a train went by. So at first, I was thinking, okay, so a train went by and it beeped as it went by. And they said, oh, that's a train. So then when they heard the what turned out to be the door, I thought, is it the first train that went by was slowing down to come into a station, and so it wasn't making that much noise, you just heard the beep, and then the second was like a freight train or something that wasn't stopping and shook the building. So I was really thinking, no, that's just a train for quite a while. But then when they go on and they realise that it's the door, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. That was really good. So the EVP, just stay away from him. I was like, whoa, excellent.
Yeah.
5 words. As they go to explore, they recognise the shifting sound to be the lift door. They try to replay the noise and it's confirmed. They properly debunk it, go downstairs, do it again. Excellent investigating.
Yeah.
I then went on too many watches on YouTube of how lifts work. I spent about 45 minutes watching various videos on how lifts work. Really dull, but we'll come back to that. So they break out this new device called the PS device. I can only find a PX device. So this is probably something similar, but they've had it made. It's like the Ovulus we discussed last week.
Yeah.
Having it new, it's a kit, just fantastic, and having people make them and send you them, it's just great, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'd be so cool to try out new equipment. Yeah.
Exploring the 4th floor, and they're asking out. Good. They're not sat scared, you know, they're quite hardened now. I know they do get scared, but when they're together, they do proper investigating, pulling the activity by, you know, not just stood in dark like cowering, wait till this is over.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, give me it. So, but the box is like, can you, you know, after, do you want us to leave? Good. Who are you? Mark. It's a name to a response of who. More questions fail, though, as is the case, until they get devil. You know, Lucy, what's your feeling on getting devil on a box?
I don't get scared by it anymore like I used to, because my theory is that if I was a ghost and I was, you know, where someone was doing an investigation, 100% I'm saying 666, devil, demon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be that. I think that could have been maybe the nurse describing the malevolent spirit, and that was the easiest way to describe it. But I do think a lot of the time spirits do toy with you. So I always like to have, sounds silly really, but quite negative other experiences to add on top of it until I'll believe that it's truly. I don't think it's the devil.
Never, no. We've sat in the back of my van at the Druids Circle, Stonehenge kind of thing, and had the Lucifer talking to us really powerfully, haven't we? And then it's like, but you're not Lucifer, are you? Because
But that was even in Latin as well.
yeah, we
were
had
getting stuff in Latin. That was crazy.
That was crazy. It was going so fast. A lot of the answers we couldn't know what was going on. It was our dictator Jane who luckily was writing it down and not finger on glass. That yeah, it was fantastic. That. Why are you upset? They say, and it says secret. Again, compelling, intriguing. You know, what is the secret? Should we be worried about you? Evil, it says. Again, yeah. These spirit boxes do tend to have quite grim words in the word bank, don't they? You know,
I always want to know
worry.
how many words are in there. And, you know, who knows? We don't know unless
yeah, I need to see the programme and I want to know that there's equally happy, cuddle.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want them all to lean to Halloweeny.
Yeah.
So Chelsea picks Alex to do the solo walkthrough. Is that fair?
Well, he was being annoying.
He was being Alex. Yeah, I mean, equally, no matter who she picked, it was going to be, you picked me.
Yeah.
Just after midnight, Alex starts his walk around. He goes to floor 2 first. Alex puts his back against the open corridor so he can look at the REM pods. Proper fair play. I am starting to have Alex down as my favourite investigator because he goes towards noises, even when he's scared. Yeah, I know Talon's the bravest, supposedly, but Alex is turning into my favourite investigator. Do you have a favourite?
I don't know if I do. I don't know. No, not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
So he gets hello, someone, I am, leave it, which does come with music. So we've tested the spirit box. It's music on it. It's going to be music. You're not treatable. Whoa, it's a hospital. Yes. You're not treatable.
Residual.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex hears a thud downstairs. He's the only one in the building. Again, after the spirit box is turned off, he hears another noise. We cut to the static cam and absolutely hear a strong metal clank.
Yeah.
Surely, after all this time, all the things that can fall over should have fallen over, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
God. Alex resets the cameras and activates the spirit box. Proper pushing on.
Yeah.
Were you trying to learn me or help me? Help you? Whoa, again, that is what he was saying. It's strong. The lift activates. What was that? Spirit box says him. Cut to the elevator door closing. So that's what the sound was. We couldn't quite hear it over the
yeah.
But it's deduced that what he hears is the lift. And he did say, I heard sort of cogs grinding. So effectively the lift is shut and it goes to the 4th floor. That is what lifts do. I watched lift videos, and to see how a single old lift works, it's talking about whether it's a circuit one or whether it's relays, whether it's electrical circuits or whether it's these sort of set programmed rhythms. Yeah. Now, what a lift does is it starts on the bottom floor, and its journey is to go to the 4th floor. If someone's on the 2nd floor, it'll go 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Or if someone's on the 3rd floor, let's say, It goes to the 3rd floor. They want to go to the 1st floor. It does not then go to the 1st floor. It goes to the 4th floor.
Okay.
And then it completes a circuit, these old ones.
Right.
And they're programmed to go to the most used, in rest mode. When they're not doing when no one's using it, they're programmed to sit on the most used floor, which is the 4th, because it's the most likely that you've got to get the lift down rather than loads of stairs.
But wouldn't it go from the ground floor? Stay at the ground floor? Because that's probably...
The new ones do.
Oh, right, okay.
But the old ones would go, because they're not as cleverly thinking as these electronic ones. It's saying this is a procedure. They have, like, every now and again there might be a part of that procedure where it does rest. Maybe it rests at different ones, but going from basement just on its own, you leave a lift. Quite often I'll see a lift and there's no one in it, and I'll go delivering a handful of boxes. I'll start moving the boxes from the lobby in. Bloody door shuts and it goes somewhere that there's nobody. So yeah, it was quite interesting. Now, when you have 2 lift shafts, since we're all talking about lifts, you've got one that is predominantly up. That is its upward journey, and lift 2 is predominantly down. That's how, when you stand in front of a pair of lift doors in a hospital, let's say, and you're like, ooh, which one's going to open? One's an upper and one's a downer. So it depends which arrow you push as to which door will open.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there is some sense to it.
So
Anyway.
would you say that it was normal for that lift to be triggered when nobody had pressed anything on any floor?
Well, this is the question. Was the 4th floor button pushed to call the lift?
Okay.
Or was it part of the old-fashioned program? It sat there doing nothing for ages, because he didn't use it, did he? He went to the 1st floor and then walked down. So it sat on the 1st floor. Is there a timer where it goes, okay, I'll go rest at 4th?
Yeah, if I haven't been called in half an hour, I'll go up. Yeah. But a 95-year-old lift, you'd think it would only go when called.
Not according to the lift videos.
No. Interesting.
Again, there's always 2 explanations.
Yeah, but it's good to know how they work, because I had no idea.
No. Dakota, we don't know how this lift works. Maybe it just does that. I can see that. Even he concedes lifts, obviously, in his experience, do go on some sort of automatic cycle. The 4th floor is the most likely used floor. That is pretty much the episode, because then we cut for sleeping arrangements. So what's any overall thoughts you have?
Well, the way the episode ended, when they open the lift, Dakota says, "There's our tripod."
Yeah.
So I was like, is there a camera on the tripod in the lift? And if there is, show us.
There wasn't. I saw, yeah. You see at that point, and when I watched it again, they've just put one in there for, well, that's where it is right now. It's just easy to get to or something.
Yeah.
I suppose everyone can call it to a different floor, whoever needs it, but...
Yeah. So it would have been cool if there was a camera in the lift. I would hope that for the next section of this episode, the next episode, I would hope that they put a camera either in the lift or on each floor pointing towards the...
Genius.
Because if you think about it, though, even if there's a normal explanation for that lift doing a cycle, the fact that they're hearing the outer doors, which aren't part of the lift, they're part of each level has its own doors, because there's doors that open within the opening, and then there's the metal concertina.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
If that's opening and it's not attached to the lift, neither of the doors are. They don't automatically open because it's so old. You have to manually, as you can see, Chelsea's like pulling them.
Yeah.
So I would love to see a camera on every floor pointing at the outer doors of the lift, and then a camera inside the lift as well.
Yeah, we had a lift like this in my last workplace, and, well, actually, you're thinking, no, you didn't. The building before that, when the building that you know as my last workplace, we used to work in the other half of it. Anyway, it has a lift. It only goes up one floor. But yeah, that had an inner gate like that, and the lift wouldn't activate until it was properly closed, the internal mesh door. Yeah. But the outside one, you could only open it when the lift was on your floor for locking mechanism. But yeah, what you're saying is absolutely right. Those doors don't like a modern one, don't open on automatically as part of the cycle. So
No.
yes, of course, I never even considered that. Thank you, because somebody had to pull the door open.
For that, and
shut
that noise
again.
is exactly the same. Now, the other question is it a residual sound? So
Yes,
they're
good.
hearing it and the doors aren't even moving.
True.
So I think I'm hoping that's what they focus on, at least in part, for the next part, because that'd be so cool. I mean, I'll still believe that it's the lift, the noise of the doors of the lift, even if it is residual.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be if they did catch the doors opening and closing on their own?
4th floor. We want to see who this is on the 4th floor. But yeah, covering the lifts is also intriguing. Hey, well done. So, Lucy, we're on to next week's episode. Thank you so much for joining me and giving me your time and efforts.
Thank you.
And see everyone next week.